Hambassadors is sponsored by Stark, who are creating iconic spaces all over Hamilton. And this week they're promoting Panama Suites. What are Panama Suites, Shay?
Well, Panama is Stark Properties' shared workspace. There are 4 in the central city, and the latest is Panama Suites, located at 18 London Street, right next to O Studio.
Yeah, designed to support teams of 4 to 20, perfect for small business through to large enterprises. It's all-inclusive, fully equipped kitchen, state-of-the-art boardroom, meeting spaces. This is the place you want to be in Hamilton. Where do they find it, Shay?
Check them out at panama.co.nz for more information, or email gareth@starkproperty.co.nz.
And tell them we sent you. Welcome to the latest episode of Hambassadors, our show that takes you behind the scenes of the Between Two Beers podcast. Shay, why has it taken us like 3 hours to record this one today?
Teething issues.
Yeah.
Teething issues with a new studio.
There's a lot going on behind this. We've been here for 3 hours trying to get to the start line.
I got the printer working.
Yeah,
that was a rigmarole. That was 2.5 hours in itself.
Yeah.
Cleaning the head.
Yeah. Producer Sam has just lost his head in the last 10 seconds. It's been too much.
It's when you get to that situation where you know if you push just a little bit further, you'll get the explosion that you're after.
And we got it.
Yeah,
we got it. It's hard to get an explosion from the big guy, but he went. And here we are.
No, if you try hard enough, you can do.
Yeah.
Nah, teething issues. We're going to get there.
Yeah.
New branding looks good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. We are in the process of a studio build. We're in the new office. It's all going great guns.
Panama. Is it Panama Square?
Panama Square. Yeah. You should know that by now.
Yeah. Well, there's 4. There's 4 in Hamilton.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, do you know what I've been up to?
Nope.
Playing golf.
Nah, I knew you would.
Yeah.
You pitched this to me on Friday as a really good idea of a 4-ball. Is that what you're calling it?
Yeah, that's right.
But the 4 wives were joining.
Yeah.
How did that pan out?
It went better than I could have hoped for.
Okay.
The thing is with golf, it's quite a selfish game. And if you're playing on a weekend, that is time away from your wife and your kids. And when you're on the course, you can be enjoying it, but at the same time, you think, I probably should be home. If you bring the partners with you and they're having fun, I mean, that is a double win. So, yeah, a 4-ball, me and 3 friends, and their wives all came along to Tiiki, Hamilton's premier golf club.
And already got the membership, man. Already got the membership.
And we had a great day. They all sort of like had a few drinks in the clubhouse. They had a cart. They did some caddying for us. They went back, had lunch, met up with us on the 17th. And it all worked. Like they had a good time. We had a good time. There were record scores. I think my friend shot an 80, which is the best he's ever done. It just worked. It really worked.
Were there club recommendations from the caddies? I think you're playing a 3-wood here.
What I will say about the caddies, and I'm doing the little air quotes, is this group of women more aligned with the let's heckle the partners rather than support. And there is no pressure quite like 10 off in front of your mates and a few others and your wives. There's a lot going on there because there's judgment.
Who was first on the tee on the first hole?
Yeah, that was me, straight into the trees. That's what I'm talking about. But do you know what a rangefinder is?
I know what a rangefinder is. I know a lot about golf. I just don't like it.
You got a beautiful swing.
I know I do, but I don't like it.
So for those that don't know, a rangefinder is like a little binocular device that gives you the yardage into the hole. And as you get better at golf, it's really important.
Have you got a rangefinder?
I recently acquired a rangefinder. This is the first time Bon, my wife, has ever seen me play golf. And she's like, what the fuck is that little binocular thing you've got? Oh, that gives me the ick. Like, what are we doing? And then that became a gag. Like every time I'd pull out the rangefinder, all the girls started getting in it. Like, yeah, do you really need, I don't think you're good enough to need that. Do you really need to know your distances? But it led to quite a funny conversation about icks. And it's like, well, what else?
Right.
What else have you got? And one of the women was like, like when a man gets knocked over by a wave at the beach, that's an ick.
Yeah.
Or like sort of waving down a waiter in a restaurant and getting ignored. Like that's an ick.
I think waving down a waiter full stop would be an ick.
Yeah. So it led me to a bit of a search for some good icks, and I want to run through them with you.
Okay.
And see if any of these align. Taste testing ice cream with a baby spoon.
Oh, that's, yeah.
No, it's not
okay. Okay, I see what we're doing here. Yeah.
Getting off a chairlift.
Oh, I don't ski.
You can imagine, like that's kind of like that awkward little sort of shuffle off and you're not quite balanced. Doggy paddling.
Well, some of us can't swim.
Running for the bus. I don't know if anyone runs for the bus.
Nah, I don't think you're running for
it's
the
not a
bus.
thing
I
anymore.
have seen people run for the bus recently.
Yeah. Wearing sockets.
Ouch. I only own sockets. Are sockets different to no-show socks? Or they're the same family?
Thing, but it's in the icks list.
I did a couple of years ago, got told that like no-show socks are ick and ankles are now ick. But for a while their ankles were in with no-shows.
It's hard to know with socks because we got a bit of a telling off, didn't we, from Liam Hayes about the length of crew socks.
Yeah.
Is quite a talking point.
Jeez.
Wearing a backpack in a bar on a Friday night.
Oh, okay. Very specific. Very specific. I wear a backpack. I got to go to is my backpack.
They are. I like the specificity of them. Specificity. When they can't find somewhere to put their bag in the overhead locker on a plane.
Oh, that is that is a
kind of lingering around.
Yeah, that is a very. I've graduated to just always putting it underneath the seat in front rather than that embarrassing situation. Yeah.
Yeah, don't get the ick. Using emojis during a fight.
Okay.
Sunnies on the back of a neck.
Yeah, that's not a good one.
You can't do that. I don't know anyone that does that move. When they move to the shade because the sun is too hot.
Oh, I don't think that's an.
Nah, I don't know.
It's just common sense. It's just common sense.
Sun smart. Claps when the plane lands.
Oh, that's not an ick. There should be more clapping when planes land. I love it when a spontaneous clap. Oh, that's disgraceful.
Golf is his personality trait.
Feels like that's
quite a good hard look at myself on that
pointed at you.
Face sunscreen not rubbed in correctly.
Yeah.
That's not sexy.
Yeah.
Drinks milk.
Oh.
I drink milk too.
Do you?
Yeah. We share in that ick.
No, I don't drink milk.
Oh.
I just think it's
fine.
Yeah. I just think it's fine to drink milk.
Okay.
Calcium.
Last couple. Whispering.
Hey, how you doing? No. Whispering.
You're going to do yin yang twins. Still uses a Hotmail address.
Hey, that's at me.
Do you still use it?
I still use it a lot.
Yeah.
That's what I sign up to most.
I think that's
where I sign up to most things, not on the work email.
Introduces themselves as an entrepreneur.
Oh, that's you. That's so
I would
you.
never. I would
that
never
is
do that.
so you.
I would never do that. And last one, saying the word froth.
Oh, no one says froth.
Froth.
Like I'm frothing that.
Yeah, you say that a lot.
Bullshit.
Froth. I say I'm frothing.
I don't think I've said that in 2025.
Yeah.
No.
You say froth a lot.
I do not.
I don't know if it's froth or froth, but you say it.
I don't.
I was frothing it.
I take real exception to that. Real exception to that.
Yeah. So I think, we probably give a lot of people.
There'll probably be a few icks in the comments now.
Yeah. Fire in the comments.
Yeah. What gives you the ick?
What's your ick? Anyway, that was my day in the golf. I understand you were close to coming back out of retirement after a 14-year hiatus, but then you got rained out. Is that right?
That's exactly accurate, yeah. I had turned down a call up to the Melville United new old boys over 35s a week prior to go to field days instead, and the team lost 6-1. And when the opportunity presented itself to play in goal again this weekend just gone,
you answered the call.
Straight away I said available. Registered online, got to Friday night and I started to have a little bit of buyer's remorse. Thought this might not be a good idea. I managed to find all my old kit in the garage, pulled it all out, put it all on to see if it still
like an excited little boy.
Yeah, to see if it fits, packed my bag and everything. Most of it did, yeah. I've got there's a lot of detail here, but I got the shin pads with like the thing that you slide in, and I put them on, and Doc was like, I think the circulation's going to cut off to your feet and your feet are going to fall off because it was quite tight. And then I sent Gavin Douglas, excitedly alerted the rest of our men's chat group here in Hamilton to say that the debut was
men's chat group. Was call it a men's chat group.
That's an extra.
Yeah,
that's an X straight away. And I jokingly said only rain can save us now, and it did. Yeah. But I got to a phase where mentally I was thinking through, can I actually dive anymore? What is this? What is the aftermath going to look like? And I'm happy the game got called off, but
it's always next week.
There is always next week.
Goalkeepers tops. I'm thinking now, like most goalkeepers I know are carrying a few extra lbs, and a lot of the time they're not that forgiving.
Yeah,
they're quite tight. They sort of tug the torso quite tightly, don't they?
They do. And I pulled out my sleeveless set of skins. and pop those on, because that keeps everything sort of down. Yeah. But that was one of my
a compression.
Yeah, it is a compression garment.
You really thought this through.
Yeah, 100%. After 14 years, definitely. Yeah. But that was my biggest concern, is that the kit might not fit. So I've pulled my own kit out.
I'm going to get some footage, because I was going to come down and watch if the game was on. I'm going to get some. I think the listeners would like to see.
Look, it's not off the table, that over 35's comeback. I have promised for a few years now that I would play, and I think this is the closest that we've got to that.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, we spent the week last week, or 2 of the days last week, MCing a conference.
Can I say something?
Yeah, please.
I really enjoyed those 2 days MCing the conference. It was a step out of our normal week-to-week activity, and it was awesome.
It was a step into like another world. So the company we were MCing for was OCS, which is a multinational commercial cleaning company. It's like 120,000 employees across 26 countries.
It's like a global company.
Huge business. And then our job is, I think across 2 days, we kind of moderated like 9 panel discussions. We did like
a Q&A with like the regional CEO.
Yeah. There was guest speakers. It was cool, but there was like heaps of little moments that I want to talk to you about. So we created this buzzword bingo card to start with.
That was an unbelievable success.
And what were they like? Double click on that.
Basically it was conference stuff. Circle back. Double click.
Synergies.
Low hanging fruit, I think, was in there as well.
But everyone got really into it. And by the end of the first day, they were like cheating to win the competition. And there was this woman that did this sort of presentation at the end, and they would like throw in the buzzword bingo like terms into the presentation to get their marks on it.
Yeah, I think there was 4 or something left, and it was one of those ones where audience interaction, and you put your word down to show up on the presentation screen. And I can't remember which one. Like low hanging fruit popped. Like what does privilege mean to you? And it was like low-hanging fruit.
And they were trying to get her to say it because it needed to be vocalized. And can you just say that one?
It was good. It was good. I think we kept the audience's attention for that day one.
Yeah, there was a few. So the job of the MC is to kind of entertain and inform and lighten the mood. And throughout the day, we sprinkled these gags, and some of them hit, but some of them missed. But I've written down some of the ones that missed. So one of their strategies was like retain, grow, gain. And I was like, shit, that sounds like a pretty good defense for my receding hairline.
Which is a good gag.
I thought it was too, but the delivery wasn't there. And it's just missed. And all I get is you. I'm like, hey man, I thought that deserved better.
Yeah, I think it did deserve better, but people don't really probably know the backstory that you've only got 4 haircuts left. So it was, it was hard. It was a hard one to explain. I also, there was, because it was a cleaning company, they were talking about there's 5 different ways to vacuum a floor. And I thought this was a good gag. I said, well, there must be 6 ways technically, because the way I'm doing it at home is always the wrong way.
It was like, hey-oh.
Yeah, and there was there was just nothing. There was nothing there. And then I doubled down similar to that about internet cookies that follow you around the internet, and I was alluding to the fact that adult websites were like linked to my Hotmail account. And again, I think a sprinkling of people got the gag, and I just...
Sometimes I like to come in and support you on it, and sometimes I just like to sit there and just let it play out.
Well, speaking of that, you also got, I don't want to say bullied, encouraged to sing. Yeah. So that same speaker wanted some music in the background and sort of came to us and said, you guys can sing. One of you can sing. And I, thinking on my feet, went, well, Steve used to be a singer in a band.
It's like, shit, here we go.
And then so she passed the microphone to you and just run me through the thought process of the song selection.
So it's like 150 people in the room. So when you start, you're a little bit sort of nervous and anxious and, oh shit, how's it going to go? So by the end of the first day, you're singing a cappella to everyone. And she's like, you're a singer? Yeah, sing a song. And I was like, oh, what do I go for? I got like 10 seconds.
And it was a song to help people think while they were...
What I should have gone for is Tu Te Mai Iwi.
Yeah.
Should have gone there.
Good song.
But I've gone with The Gambler by Kenny Rogers. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why. I don't know where that's come from.
It started strong.
On a warm summer's evening, train bound from nowhere. And I realized a few bars in that I couldn't land the plane. Like I didn't know the words to the end of the verse to get to the chorus.
Yeah.
And I think you're the only one that picked up on it.
Yeah.
Because
I just started
laughing. And then I thought when I got to the, you got to know when to hold 'em, I thought everyone would come in with me. That was my vision. And no one really did.
A few people had their back turned to you and they were sort of singing along. But when you started to really fumble the bill on the lyrics, it sort of came unstuck.
Yeah. I sort of got back at you. So the gala on the second night, and I've kind of in my intro, I've just made a big thing about what you don't know about Shay is he is an amazing dancer. And there was like this dance floor in the middle of the room. And if we give him enough encouragement, he's going to get up. He's going to back that thing up tonight. It was like, yeah, Shay, let's go.
It was good though, because I could piggyback off the back of that, which I was never going to dance ever. But it was an interesting, there was also a moment during that MCing when I was talking where someone else took the microphone and they did an impromptu happy birthday because it was 125 years of OCS. And I kind of got picked on, and then she sort of backtracked and was like, nah, just only joking because you're actually hot. And then she was like, oh, and almost caught herself, like, room of 150 people, and be like, oh, no, you're not.
No, you're not.
No, you are hot. Nah, you're not. It was.
And then you get up. It's great. I'm a bit confused whether I'm hot or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was, all in all, a good 2.5 days. Well spent.
The other part of it was Zeon Armstrong.
Oh, I forgot about
was,
Zeon.
The keynote speaker on the second morning. And for those long-time listeners, he's one of our favourite ever guests, one of our most popular episodes. He's also our most popular speaker for B2B speakers, but this is the first time I've actually heard his keynote. So he was there for 90 minutes. His keynote went like an hour, and then we did like a 30-minute Q&A with him afterwards. And it was awesome. Like there were parts of his story which we didn't talk about in the podcast. And man, he's such a good operator. And to see him and just sit there and enjoy it, and then, you know, the sign of a good presentation is afterwards the response he gets. And I ended up turning into the photographer.
You're welcome.
There was a stream of about 15 people, maybe longer, like lining up to get a photo with him. And because I was there talking to him, like, oh, can you take this photo? And then, you know, do you know how that happened? Did you see the nuance of how that happened? Nah.
So we were like, we better get a photo with Zeon beforehand. And there was one of those people saying, oh, can I get a photo with Zeon? And I said, yeah, absolutely. If you could just take a photo of us first, and then I'll get Stephen to take a photo of you. So she took the photo of us and then handed you the camera. And then I just left for 10 minutes, and I came back and you were still taking photos.
And I was like, shit, I need to prep what we're saying next, but no.
Just snapping away.
Yeah. So that was cool. Yeah.
He was great. He was like, you're right, like elements of his story that I hadn't heard before, slightly different way of delivering the message. There was so much, like he's definitely a part tour for us sometime in the future to get him back in, because there was, the episode that we've got is great, but there was so much more to him as well.
So last week, a listener reached out and said Leigh Hart had been talking about us on his podcast. I'm just going to play the audio for you now.
Venetians, too complicated, over-engineered. Many people say, I'd agree with that. Hey, look, we've only been out for a couple of weeks in the podcast realm, but I think we're kind of in a position at this point to maybe judge and give our opinion on other people's podcasts.
Absolutely.
Let's just look at what's in the ratings at the moment there. Oh, here's one. Between Two Beers. Mm-hmm. These guys do a great podcast. They've done a number now. They've interviewed pretty much all the top names in the country.
Yep, including yourself.
I've been on there. And one thing I'll say about these guys, they do their research. They really do. They knew more about me professionally and personally than I did with all their research. Yeah.
Such as?
Well, they knew that my wife had left me already. I didn't know that. They knew before I had. God knows how they got that info, but they did. I wish I hadn't broken during the podcast. But
geez, that would have been a high-rated episode, though.
I think it was actually for them. You know, it was an earlier one, back in the sort of the COVID days, I think. But anyway, they're doing a good job. I'm going to give them 7.5 out of 10. I think they had Ian Foster on this week. Good episode. Check it out after you've checked our one out. The other one...
Do you remember Leigh Hart's episode?
Not very well. I mean, I remember it was during COVID. I remember afterwards like, I think I was chatting to you on the phone, being in the kitchen of Mum's house, and just being like, we just interviewed Leigh Hart. Like, that was crazy. But I kind of have vague recollections of like him being in his lounge and quite. Had he been at the Eco Lodge during COVID?
Yeah. So my recollection of it was after it finished, I was like, holy shit, Shay, we just did a podcast with Leigh Hart.
Yeah.
Like, that was awesome. We nailed it. Like, I was so excited. Just like, he was our sort of comedic hero and we'd captured it. Like, it was really early, right? This was like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
maybe.
it was very much in the COVID. I remember sending it into a spin of like Moon TV and just went down an absolute rabbit hole of watching all that.
Yeah. But he hadn't done a lot of podcasts at that point. So it was kind of like 2 hours of like, people knew him, the character, but we kind of got his real story of who he was. But after I heard that, it sent me to go and like find the recording of it.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm going to play what actually we said at the start of the podcast. And for those that are watching, we'll overlay the video of it with like the state of us and just the whole operation. Okay, here we go.
What does Wednesday look like? What did you get up to today, Leigh?
Such a Stephen question.
Well, good question, actually.
question.
As you know, I mean, we're sick of talking about it, but we're in lockdown here in Auckland. But I'm managing to get into this office we've got to try and do work and do stuff, pretend we're normal. Selling this house at the moment, which has been kind of stressful in many ways. Can we speak, what's the word for it in English? Going through separation, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, okay, right. So it's pretty heavy for this stage of the podcast, I know. But let's be honest, right? But anyway, so that's been quite full on all that. But still trying to get work done. No tea.
Is that like right off the bat?
Yeah. Because it was Leigh and because it was the first time we talked to him, and you know, I remember thinking, is he serious?
Is it gag?
Gag? Like, is there a gag coming?
Was that really like straight off the opening
I think
exchanges? Far out.
Always tinged with truth.
Creating a safe space, even over.
Yeah.
I can hear the audio. That's very much a COVID episode, isn't it?
Yeah, but it took me back thinking of all, you know, kind of our making was over COVID because these, you know, big names, big stars in New Zealand were trapped in their houses and had nowhere to go. So when they get approached by a couple of battling podcasters to come on their show, it's like, you just give us an hour and a half of your time. What else are you going to do? Have a chat, you know? So we ticked off quite a few good names across that period. We got the sort of the snowball rolling, didn't we? We had Laura McGoldrick and Monty Beetham, I think Eugene Barrowman.
Yeah. PJ? I think PJ.
Yeah, that's right.
Polly was in that.
Your text with PJ.
In that.
Yeah.
Remember Marina Rakovic wearing the sunglasses through the whole episode?
That's right. But Paddy Gower, Scotty Styris.
Yeah.
But it's a different type of, you know, now when we're in studio and you're right there's a lot of sort of, you know.
Yeah,
I don't know what
I remember the clunkiness of the COVID interviews of like not sure, just like then, not sure when to come in or when not to come in because we were in different rooms and
there's that lag. It's very much ask a question and wait for the answer.
Yeah, I had that dial-up internet. Remember people used to hammer me about my video quality being horrendous?
Yeah, nice little trip down memory lane.
Yeah,
anyway, thanks, Leigh. Hey, Between Two Bets.
Brought to you by our friends at the TAB.
Yeah, didn't go so well last week. Chiefs nearly got there, but didn't quite.
Don't bet with your heart. Bet with your head.
And that's experience. Yeah.
What are you running?
Well, I am going to bet on the All Blacks against France, and the TAB have this new 3-leg same game multi, and you get a bonus bet back if you lose. So if you place 3+ legs on the same game, they will cover your bet up to $25 with a bonus cash back. And I've done it. So I have bet on New Zealand to get more than 36.5 points, more than 4.5 tries, and total points being over 54.5. And that is going to pay us shitloads when that comes in. So, and if we lose, you get $25 bonus back.
Is it going to pay as much as me backing the New Zealand Warriors women in their opening NRLW match this weekend against the Sydney Roosters, who are the heavy favourites? I've gone the Warriors at $5.50.
Yeah, no, it won't pay as much as that.
Which is, I think, $2.25 return. They're big outsiders. First game over the ditch, and then I think they're coming to Hamilton for a few matches as well at our local stadium.
Yeah.
I'm getting behind them.
Yeah, nice.
I wanted to put first try scorer Michaela Brake now. Sorry, Michaela.
Yeah.
But that book's not open yet.
Yeah, a couple of good bets. We're about $700 at our pool. So if we get up to 1,000, 500 is ours. So we're about 300 away. Paying out the listeners, 5 of them get $100 in bonus
Let's
bets.
go NZ Warriors women. R18, bet responsibly.
Big changes to the betting landscape in New Zealand across the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I've been seeing this on my socials recently.
So the government has introduced changes to how betting works. Can no longer place bets with overseas bookmakers. It's all TAB and Betcha now. So if you've got an overseas account, can't use it anymore, or you won't be able to pull funds out of it. And it just means more money is going to be coming into New Zealand, sport and racing and communities, and not profiting offshore bookmakers.
Which is a good thing for New Zealand. Keep the money here.
Yeah, key takeaway, government wants to ensure that betting happens within a responsible, regulated framework, and now they can.
Yeah, so remember, R18, bet responsibly. Download the app and make the switch today.
In our last Hambassadors, we were talking about Auckland City at the Club World Cup.
Yes, we also we put a bet on. You put a bet on.
Yeah, that was two Hambassadors ago. But we were kind of talking about, because I'd gotten beat 10-0, right? 10-0 by Bayern Munich, and they got beat 6-0 by Benfica. And we were discussing whether or not, would you prefer to go to the Club World Cup and get beat 10-0, or would you prefer not to go? And I think we both arrived that it's still shit. You get to play Bayern Munich.
100%.
But there is that kind of, it's a bit of a tough look, and it's not a great feeling.
Fast forward, though.
Yeah, fast forward. And they have drawn with Boca Juniors, which is one of the greatest results in New Zealand football history. I don't think that's over egging the pudding.
No, I don't think over egging the pudding is even a term. But yeah, it's an outstanding result from 10-0 to 6-0 to 1-1. Yes, if you delve into the stats, there were 40 shots, I think, that Boca Juniors had against Nathan Garrow in goal, 3 to Auckland City. But all that matters is the score at the end of the day, 1-1. Christian Grey header, thanks for coming.
Yeah. I think Auckland at the Club World Cup has generated more sort of headlines and eyes on New Zealand football than anything since the 2010 World Cup. It's just it's this team of amateurs and battlers and school teachers and drawn with Boca Juniors, who are an uncomparably supported and financed team, like one of the biggest teams in the world.
Well, they had a massive travelling army of fans that went to the game as well. I think there was like 30,000 versus a group of 30 hardy from Auckland City, like the classic David versus Goliath situation. My algorithm on TikTok has been blowing up with like 50-50 people sort of saying these guys shouldn't be here versus others going, what an amazing story that this team of amateurs are here on the world stage. And man, like, I reckon you're only as good as your last performance, and 1-1 versus Boca Juniors is pretty good.
Is that you only reckon you're as good as your last performance?
Yeah.
That sounds like management speak.
Well, I love that. Start a podcast bingo.
The cool thing about like the money involved in this, that goal by Christian Grey bumped them up to 27th out of 32, and with it came an extra $1 million of prize money.
Yeah, like people were
$1 million.
People were shitting on them, and they finished 5 places above. Well, there were 5 professional teams, fully professional teams below them. Got a point, good result. Like, yeah, what? Got to give them their kudos.
Yeah. Hey, one thing I'm going to put out into the universe is I reckon we need to get over to the World Cup next year. Little daily video podcast show.
I'm up for
Follow
that.
the All Whites.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of the Club World Cup on DAZN with those pundit shows.
Yeah,
I reckon we could do like an alt version of that.
We'll put a little proposal together, eh? Next year's going to be a big one for footy.
All right. We'll leave that in your camp.
Hey, we're talking sex again this week.
Yeah.
Aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. There's been a lot of it recently.
What, sex?
And talk of it.
Is there?
Yeah, remember when we got that big wand of Morgan pens out recently?
Yeah, we did.
And I surprised you with the girls get off little fun bag that they gave us, and they're coming in studio.
Yeah, so we've had 2 separate boxes of sex toys delivered. We're a bit of a target. I don't know who they think who they think we are. But whenever we have, we've had 2 sex eps
I've gone
previously, right?
awkward straight away. Like I'm already feeling awkward about it.
Yeah. It is that sort of window where you're thinking, how much of my stuff am I going to talk
It's not one that the family are going to listen to, that's for sure. They very rarely listen to much, but they'll be skipping that one.
And like a lot of Bond's friends listen to the show, so that's always and my mum.
Yeah.
So hey Bren, we'll see what comes of it.
Yeah. And you've taken some of that stuff home, haven't you? Some of the girls get off stuff home.
We all have, haven't we?
Oh yeah, I've taken it home. You've taken it home though, haven't you?
All right, man. Hey, so Robin Malcolm.
Well, that's a quick escape out of that. Looking forward to it. I think earlier in this week, it's too late by the time this goes out, but we've asked the audience for like any questions from the floor. So Mike from Tauranga, if you're listening, we'd love to get your question in here and see if we can ask the girls from GGO some advice. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It's good stuff. You got to keep yourself entertained.
Hey, Robin Malcolm was the podcast we released 2 weeks ago since our last Hambassadors, and that has been so well received. We have floods of feedback. People have loved it. It's blown up on the social channel. Like Facebook. It kind of leans towards older, more nostalgic vibes. So anytime there's a Mertens or if it's Patrick or a Robin Malcolm, like the videos go off, like tens and hundreds of thousands of views and a flood of comments like showing their love for Outrageous Fortune. Like so many comments about, I missed that show so much. People had forgotten about it for a while and then she's talking about it and sort of bringing it back into focus.
I think I've said this before, but I actually text Robin the week of the release and just said, hey, there's a lot of love for you out there. But also, I got to tell you, when we recorded with you, while I was a massive After the Party fan, I hadn't watched a single episode of Outrageous Fortune. I have remedied that. I'm midway through season 2.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, that's so cool. You're going to love it. There's a whole bunch of twists and turns. And I kind of thought, was I one of the only people that missed the boat on Outrageous Fortune?
Yes.
Really?
You're the only one.
There's a lot of rooting in it.
Yeah, there is.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
Way more than I thought.
It's West.
Yeah, I guess I missed that. But it's like that nostalgia speaks to a lot of people, right?
Rooting is a word that doesn't probably get used enough.
Yeah, well, it's an Outrageous Fortune term. Yeah, there's a lot of rooting.
Yeah.
I think Jethro just rooted Van's high school sweetheart.
Are you enjoying it?
I love it. Yeah. Rooting or the show? I'm loving the show. The show is great.
It did make me think of that kind of golden era of TV in New Zealand, and for me, I watched Outrageous Fortune. There was also like Havoc and Newsboy. We spoke about that with Mikey Havoc. Crowd Goes Wild was thriving at that point with Moles and Mark Richardson. Campbell Live was like the...
Did you watch Campbell Live?
Yeah, I used to get into Campbell Live, and then there was like...
I don't think you did.
What do you mean? Do you think I'm lying about watching Campbell Live?
I don't know. You don't strike me as a Campbell Live guy.
This is when I was living with Bruce and Bren in Thames Street.
Ah, okay.
You're watching the news, and the news is going into Campbell Live.
Some of us are still doing it. Some of us are still doing the old 6 to 7 p.m. swing.
And then like the talent shows, like the New Zealand Idol, Pop Stars or whatever it was.
I went down a rabbit hole of eating media lunch on YouTube. I started watching a lot of that again. And the footy show.
Yeah.
I sat down on a weekend and watched about 2.5 hours of footy show compilation.
You're watching a lot of TV this last week, eh?
Yeah.
I thought you were busy, man.
No, I just pop it on, have it in the background while I'm doing the wrong vacuuming around the house. And I brought it back.
Yeah, and that's clever. So the episode we released on Monday was Rowan Simpson, who we spoke about
He is clever.
months ago. Yeah, well, a contender for the smartest guest we've had, I think. I think we did speak about it in the last Hambassadors, how at the end of the episode, we sat in the studio and just kind of asked him how things work because he's got this ability. He's the super brain, but can break things down in really clean and easy to understand concepts.
And he always wanted to get under the hood of things. That was kind of the secret to his success.
How do sound waves work?
Yeah,
what's going on with mobile phones then, Rowan?
Again, like it's not on, I don't think it's on there, but I still don't know how sound gets off a ribbon into a speaker and then you can hear it for cassette tapes.
Yeah. But there were moments in that one where I was thinking, this guy he's on a different. There's levels to this. He's on the next level.
He'd definitely be in the top 3 smartest we've ever had.
Well, I was thinking about that. Okay, I've made a little list. Add it to you as you will. I've got Suri and Taylor.
Oh, yeah. That goes,
I've got Guy and Espiner.
Yes.
Smart.
Yep.
Shane Bradley, he's got a brain.
Yeah.
One of the great
different
brains.
way of looking at things.
Yeah, I guess it's hard to determine what I'm talking about by
Yeah,
smart.
if they all sat down and did an NCEA test, I don't know, you'd get varying levels of answers.
I had Greg Foran.
Smart.
Yeah. Dr. Alia Bojalova.
Super smart.
Yeah. So you're giving her super smart, but Greg Foran smart. That's interesting.
Zeon Armstrong would be on that list after watching him.
But Raylene as well, Sarai Berriman.
Yep.
But there's a mix of
There's different
EQ
levels
and IQ.
of, yeah,
isn't
there's
there?
different
There's a
levels
mix
of
EQ
smart,
and
isn't
IQ.
there?
Yeah, but I think just in terms of brain, I don't know. I don't know how I'm defining it, but
Yeah.
Rowan Simpson.
I think Rowan would be
he's up
yeah,
there. He's in the conversation.
top 2.
Yeah. Let us know who you think is the smartest person
Nice.
on the show.
Bringing the audience into it.
Hey, I'm excited about. Have I been saying hey a lot?
You've said it literally every break that we've had here.
It's kind of like how I break up
Yeah.
chapters. We can edit that. Sammy can edit that out.
No. We're going to leave those in.
Hey,
That's what you do.
I'm excited about this week's episode. You know, there's times when you're like,
Next week's episode.
yeah. The next episode, for those that are listening, the next episode you're going to hear is a good one.
Unless you're not listening to these sequentially. In which case, I'm excited about the J. Reeve episode.
Yeah, it's Jay Reeve. That's what I'm talking about. Jay has been one of these guys who I feel like we know really well, despite only meeting him a couple of times. He's great at sending messages of support and how much he enjoys episodes and shouting it out on socials. But to spend 2 hours plus with him and get all of his best stories.
Oh, what a storyteller as well.
Honestly, one of the best storytellers. And he started MTV. People might not remember. He was for 5 years flying around just doing
Partying
basically,
and interviewing people.
interviewing the biggest stars in the world. Tells stories about like Jay Leto and his girlfriend, which is an interesting one. There's one story, I'm not sure yet if we're going to leave it in. I hope we do. It's right at the end of the episode. Did
you just get Jay Leno and Jared Leto mixed up?
Did I say Jay Leno?
You said Jay Leto.
Yeah. Jay, it's been a day, man.
Yeah, are you okay? You've been sick the last 2 weeks. Is everything all right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Someone put in the comments I need to have some fisherman's friend or something. Is that what clears up here?
Yeah. That'll blow your hole in your nose.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm excited for Jay. Pals, founder of Pals, MTV, radio, business. Like we talk a lot about like the lads retreat he did at the start of the show, which is not what you would expect, but it's epic. It's exciting.
AA weekend, attitude and altitude.
Yeah. Keep an eye out for that one on Monday. Let's end this show
with a song.
On a warm summer's evening. Nah, catch you next week. All right. Thanks for joining us.
Enjoy.